And a channel saying over and over that he'd marry her in a heartbeat and so on and so forth. She wanted my kayak. Have it, had to have it. I did my best to try to hold on to it, but I had to make some money. I had to try to survive because I don't have a support network here. I have people who send me in circles. They don't bother to find out what circles I've been through. They're too busy talking. Only their questions matter, not my experience. A lot of people get angry that I speak up and that I record. That's fine. You can be as angry as you want. It's not going to stop me. I don't like being scammed. I don't like having the wool pulled over my eyes. I don't like being lied to, misled, or misrepresented. Do you guys like those things happening? Of course you don't. So why is it okay for you? Why is it okay for you to do it to people? Well, for the most part, it comes down to gender. People are taught not to listen to men. Men are supposed to do it all themselves, even if they're disabled, even if they're elderly, even if they're children. Ask me how I know. I grew up in the system, motherfuckers. A lot of people got in contact with me because they wanted things. They want to play let's make a deal. Well, we can do that, but you need to keep your end of the deal. Now, I did do my best to try to see to it that Dallas was able to get the kayak because he wanted it. I tried to save it for her, but it didn't happen. I saved her in my phone as Amanda Kayak because of the kayak, though. That's how I have her written down. That's how her name was saved in my phone, Amanda Kayak. Now, that was way back when I first got here. I got that kayak from Lewis. Yesterday, Dallas was going to see to it that she was able to get it. And Dallas didn't answer all day yesterday. I don't know if Amanda was able to reach him or get a hold of him or get that kayak. I really don't care, though. I got more important things going on. I got more fucked up things going on. And yeah, I care more about my family than that fucking kayak. I care about my sister and I care about my niece. I also care about the fact that when you were railroaded in court just once, they get to use that against you for the rest of your fucking life. You don't need to ask me what the fucking point is to fucking turning in my predators, putting a stop to the fucking abuse, but you don't want to do that. You don't care about that. Chris, on multiple occasions, was gonna listen to me and didn't because he wanted to listen to Amanda, and it's because he's got a crush on her. And as much as I'm sure that he doesn't want everybody knowing his personal business, and she doesn't want everybody knowing her personal business, it's not their personal business. Not anymore. See, my personal business never got to be my personal business. I'm stuck out in public. If people want to victimize me, they can. I don't have a place to put myself, and lots of people here want to talk about how afraid of the cops they are, how the law here doesn't work, how the judges don't give a shit. Well, that is pretty fucking significant. I don't need them to tell it to me. I need them to tell it to the people and to the courts. The people here in Tillamook telling me all that crap, there's a reason that they're taking that BS. And there's a reason it's still happening and still going on. It's because these people, like most people in this country, are cowards. I'm not here to keep your fucking secrets. That's not what I'm here for. People got a bunch of questions that, you know, they could be easily answered, but you got to stop and let me actually answer them. Last night, that recording is over 5 hours long. Over 5 hours long. Now, see, here's the thing about Amanda. Amanda, on multiple occasions, has come down talking about her shitty boyfriend. And of course, Chris, he has a big old crush on her, so anytime she comes down, he's gonna spend his time with her. And I have to accept that between turning in abuse against me and hanging out with Amanda, he's gonna hang out with Amanda. A lot of people, they're used to standard bitching. People aren't actually trying to do anything about their problems, they are just bitching about them. That's not what I'm doing. My complaints aren't just complaints. I save the evidence for a reason. Just because you guys don't care about the abuse that I endure doesn't mean that I don't endure it. Just because you won't look at the videos or read any of the evidence doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because you're lazy doesn't make it my fault. When you want something, that's one thing. When I need something, that's entirely another. Your wants are more important than my needs. I get it. I also know that even if we make a deal, I do what you want in exchange for the help I need. It's not going to work that way. People don't stop to try to understand the situation that I'm in. They're too busy talking about themselves. What's worse is when they're talking about themselves and I need them to listen. I often get yelled at because they're trying to help me by talking over me and talking about themselves. Being negative by telling me, oh, it'll never work. Well, you know what? If we don't try following the law, of course it's not going to fucking work. If we don't try to turn in these fucking predators, of course it's not going to fucking work. You make me go in alone after promising me that you're going to help me for months and months and months and months. You've already helped my predators to get away because you're a selfish piece of shit. You don't give a fuck about me. I need actual help. But that means I need people to actually listen to understand, not listen to argue, not listen to make excuses, because that's not actually listening. That's you mulling around shit in your own head. A lot of people can agree that I'm funny. I used to be a lot funnier. But I am serious most of the time because I'm in a fucked up situation. I don't get to see my friends or loved ones. None of the people here are real friends. Not one of them. And sure, you might be sober. Chris claims that he's sober. He doesn't do drugs anymore. He just used to. A lot of his stories involve stupidity of his youth. I didn't have that stupidity of my youth. If there was a problem growing up, it was because people were bullying me. I knew from when I was a little kid that it's not okay to speak up. It's not okay to tell on predators. Especially if they have a position of power. Not unless you have a friend or family member who cares, and I never did. My family couldn't stay off the drugs. Obviously, my siblings were all too young for any of us to get custody of the rest of us. There was a few people I knew growing up where they had a much older sibling, and when their parents died or ended up in prison, that much older sibling took over the responsibilities of being a parent. Now, where's my major issue with Amanda? You know, she's happy and sunshiny. It's not her fault that Chris has a crush on her. Well, you know, she does spend an awful lot of time with him, knowing that if a man did that, that's right. She said if her boyfriend did that, she'd go have sex with all of his friends, videotape it, and send it to him. She's not the first woman to say that. Now, she's short, blonde hair, blue eyes. All the things that your modern society loves so much. She looks cute and innocent. She's also a drug addict. Looking cute and innocent doesn't mean shit to me. Natalie Bollinger looked cute and innocent. Alicia Bollinger looked cute and innocent. How long do you think they took painting on those faces, trying to make themselves look cute and innocent? How much time do they spend painting on that face and dyeing their hair to fit an image, to fit a look? Looks are more important to women than they are to men by a lot. A lot of women feel entitled because of their looks. There's also a lot of women who feel entitled just because they're women. We got a lot of behemoth type women. Big, like big men. Complaining that men owe it to them to date their fat asses. But they won't date a fat man. They want Channing Tatum, and they want him to be rich, and they want him to be nice. Jamie Curtis stated it best, I believe, when she said, "Women cannot be pleased." That is a direct quote. The most horrible things that I've ever heard about women all came from other women. About how vindictive women are. Women point this out. Most of the women I know talk to me about how they don't have any female friends because women are twisted and wicked and vindictive and evil, and they tell me things like, well, women change their mind more than they change their underwear. A lot of women tell me, you know what, Sean, you don't want to date anybody. You really don't. Women are a pain in the ass. Women telling me this. There's also a lot of women who have told me about their sexual predators, including the female ones. Jamie included. She had a friend named Samantha in, I believe, Fort Collins or Fort Morgan, Colorado. And Samantha was her first rapist. Samantha was the first person to hold Jamie down and force sexual activities on her. But Jamie also spoke about her grandfather doing the same. She spoke about her Uncle Ronnie, what a piece of shit he is, but how she allowed him into her life and her son's life because he was going to help her turn in her predator, her grandfather. But a man can't tell a woman about his abuse, about him being abused in such a way, because she's just going to go off on, if she doesn't have her own story, someone else's. Or about how women have it worse. Women have it worse. Every woman I know want to turn it into a pissing contest like, oh, women have it worse. No, they don't. No, they don't. When it comes to nighttime assaults, men are more likely to be the victims of violence, 5 times more likely. When I got Chris Swafford recording, talking about getting violent with people, talking about gonna beat up people's parents and shit like that, He's a very violent-minded person. Then he says, oh, well, I was just messing around, just kidding. It doesn't sound like messing around or just kidding to me. Meanwhile, if I say that shit, I go to jail or I go to prison. I get treated like I'm some sort of a monster. When people do that shit to me, you all look the other way and tell me, oh, just forget about it. No, 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 no. See, that's the thing of being a at-risk adult here in America. If you let the predators go, that gives them a big head and they'll do it more. And they'll get their friends involved. And I don't have any friends, so I can't defend myself against it. Many of these people have done drugs together for decades. Are they going to help out some stranger who's living in a parking lot how he needs? Especially if your friends are their predators? No, you're not. You're going to tell me stories to try to deter me from turning shit in, instead of helping me to put a stop to the abuse by the police. You're going to say it won't do any good. Start telling me about how corrupt the police are. But the most fucked up thing is the double standard. Amanda is a perfect example of that. She tries to present herself as sweet and innocent, but she'll drop them bombs about how she's really mentally fucked up. When you can go hang out with whoever you want, but your man isn't even allowed to have a friend. If a female even messages him, even if she's not pretty, you're going to throw a fucking tantrum. But then she wanted to throw a tantrum about what? If she's cute or good looking, how dare he? That's right, she was angry about his looks. Or about their looks. He's not allowed to talk to other women, but she can come hang out with Chris and talk shit about him behind his back. I'd rather tell people to their faces in an adult fashion. Now, she didn't want to do that. She wanted to get angry at me. If she doesn't want her name or any of that stuff up, well, I don't care. I don't care. I did when I was hoping that there was some good in you, but now I don't. I know that Chris is just going to turn anything I say into a fucking argument and talk down to me like I'm a retard. I know that all these people, even if they say they're my friend, they show that they're not actually my friend. Doing nice things that are arbitrary is not the same as helping somebody who needs help. And the longer it takes, the more abuse I take. And the more abuse I take, the more help I need. While you're busy saying you don't have time, but you're going to make the time, more crimes are committed against me. And more and more and more. But it doesn't matter because I have no place to process it. As much as Amanda wanted that kayak, and as much as I hope she got that kayak, the kayak isn't fucking important. My evidence is important. My experiences are important. The conditions that I am forced to live in are important. And you guys going out of your way to argue with me, not to understand. That's a fucked up thing to do. Not as fucked up as abusing a man because he has friends other than you, but you are allowed to have friends. That's kind of like my mom. My mom can go fuck anybody that she wants. And my stepdad is just supposed to accept it. But if he has a video game character that marries another video game character, she's allowed to beat the shit out of his vehicle, smash the window, kick him out of the house, and run around town telling everybody that he's abusive, that he's cheating on her. No, she cheated on him. As far as the emotional cheating thing, you know, Chris is kind of cute. I think your boyfriend has the right to be pissed off that you're hanging out with cute boys. Maybe he should go have sex with all your female friends, record it, and send it to you. How many of your female friends are addicted to drugs? Because that wouldn't be too difficult for him to do. With a lot of the women I know exactly which drugs would have gotten me laid, and I never tried it. I knew that with Jamie Curtis, methamphetamines or cocaine would get me laid. Those are instant panty droppers. But I'm not interested in dropping panties. I'm interested in stopping abuse and doing something about it. When you got 80 people in a town talking about how horrible and corrupt the police are, but not one of them's doing a goddamn thing about it, other than bitching at the fucking peanut gallery. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to get these supposed victims to work together to put a stop to this shit. But they're all too busy making excuses why it won't work before ever making any effort. And then, of course, their friends are just as shitty as they are. Their friends will make them go in alone. Just like my friends, or supposed friends, made me go in alone. Maybe these people here will eventually work together. But how much of their personal business is going to end up on the internet before then? Now, that personal business isn't up there because I just wanted to post up all their personal business. It's because I need help. And my efforts to get actual help, I do record those. I do show what it's really like. How it's a fucking dead end without a friend or family member who helps. I've shown how instead of people trying to understand my disabilities so that they can help me, instead they learn just enough to capitalize on it, or they have just enough ignorance to try to play like that must be the truth. I'm tired of my friends and family ending up dead because people don't care, because autistic people must be retarded, schizophrenic, loser nut jobs who are out to hurt everybody, and so on and so on and so on. What we autistic people need to do is come together and sue organizations like Autism Speaks. They harm every autistic person. They intentionally misrepresent every situation with the autistic. They make our abusive parents out to be the victims. They're not victims. They are, in fact and indeed, predators. Amanda probably isn't going to have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of restricted calls harassing her. Chris probably isn't going to have that either. Because these predators are after me, not you dipshits. But you don't want to look at that. You can argue instead, and your arguments are stupid. You tell me to let something go, I guarantee you, if I do it to you, you won't let it go. I also guarantee you that you have options I don't. Amanda has options I don't because she's short and pretty and blonde-haired and blue-eyed and white and a female. She's also a female addict, and you know how we're supposed to be with them. We're supposed to feel sorry for female addicts. They didn't do it to themselves. Men made them do it. Men made them do it. Men made them do it. What are the chances of Chris blowing me off every time Amanda shows up? Well, he blows me off every time she shows up, so it's a pretty good chance. Patterns. Now with Amanda, if her boyfriend is not allowed to have any female friends, why is she allowed to have male friends? When she can go and hang out with and flirt with whoever she wants. But her boyfriend is under siege. That's bullshit. It's sexist and it's wrong. Chris just likes to argue. His help always comes at a high cost, a high price. All of a sudden, they got 10,000 things they expect me to do and want me to do, with no regard for whether or not I'm capable. I'm not going to stop recording, and I'm not going to stop putting things up live on YouTube and Facebook. I need actual help. I don't need druggies talking about themselves nonstop. That's not help. You don't want me to identify you as a druggie? Then don't identify yourself as a druggie. When I'm talking about the things that druggies have done to me, and you want to interrupt me to tell me that you're a druggie and you didn't do it to me, that doesn't matter. If I'm raped by 8 people and I go and try to tell on those 8 people for raping me, and you say, oh, well, I didn't rape you, so you should just let it go. Yeah, that's how you deal with men who are being abused. He just needs to let it go. If he sticks up for himself or tells the truth, he's a horrible monster. Okay. Your personal business is not your personal business once you start telling people. There's a big difference between being forced to do something and doing something because it's in your nature. No, I don't trust anyone who is wanting to talk about going and having sex with all of a guy's friends because she didn't get what she wanted right when she wanted it. Not only going out and having sex with all of his friends, but videotaping it and sending it to him. How many women have had that suggestion? A lot, and it's fucking sick and it's fucking twisted. Chris admitted yesterday that I do at least tell the truth. At least I told the truth. That's the point there, is that I am telling the truth. You guys know I'm telling the truth. But instead of trying to do something about it and expose the fact that it's the truth, you want to make excuses why it's not going to do any good. That's why you guys are in the situation you're in. You're selfish cowards. Now, obviously, people aren't going to call you 120 times in an hour-long period. I don't even think it took an hour to get 120 of those restricted calls. What do you guys do about it? You tell me to let it go and tell me to ignore it? A lot of you guys are friends with the same druggies that have repeatedly harmed me here. You're not going to help turn in your friends, obviously. And I got to take the abuse. And you tell me, oh, well, why don't you move somewhere else? How many times have I moved since Natalie died? I have no friends. I have no support network. And by the time I almost get one set up, I've already been run out of everywhere because people don't like fucking hobos. You treat us all like we're junkies. Meanwhile, I'm stuck out here with the junkies. I don't do that junk. I got to try to abridge everything so I can get as much in as possible before you interrupt me again. And then, of course, when I got to do that, my words don't come out right because you're rushing me as much as you possibly can. Trying to make everything about you. When a victim comes to you about abuse, the most selfish thing you can do is make it about you, like Chris does, like Amanda does. All these other folks who want to tell me their horror stories about the corruption of local police. These people who want to tell me about their missing and dead loved ones and the insurance that doesn't cover their issues. About how they need actual help, but instead the government's spending $2,000 a month, taxpayer dollars, to put them on drugs. And they're still fucking homeless. Housing first. But the other thing is, we can't focus just on housing when people are being repeatedly abused. Just because you don't want to see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Even though I don't believe that Amanda has any actual morality to speak of, I still want her to have that kayak because I can't carry it and Dallas's legs are too long for it. It ought to be about the right size for her, and it shouldn't go to waste. It does take a little bit of work to see if that happens. Actual work, actual effort. And I've made actual efforts to try to get her that kayak since she first asked about it. Also, there's a young man who's a friend of Dallas's. He's real funny. I thought he was Dallas's age, but he was only 17. So I told him I couldn't talk to him because he was underage, and I haven't seen him since. I'm hoping the kid's all right. When somebody is being abused and you want a pissing contest, you're fucked up. When your ideas are to do anything except turn in the predators, you're a piece of shit, straight up. When your idea is to change the subject repeatedly and make it about you, you're an especially fucked up person. You're an exceptionally selfish person, but it's easy to tell when people are selfish because generally they give you signs of their selfishness. Like when you're having an issue, they change the subject and make it about them. Or they talk about how their man isn't allowed to have any female friends because she'll go have sex with all of his male friends and send him the video. How fucked up is that? And women do this shit all the time. Guys, for the most part, just talk about doing stuff. Women will actually do it because they have the ability and the capability. And you know what? If you're a short, fat woman who's dating a good-looking guy, and all your female friends talk about how they want to have sex with him, what are the chances that your friends will have sex with him? They're pretty good. Pretty good chance that they'll have sex and behind your back if they can get away with it. So you're going to your female friends and complaining about how you don't know where your boyfriend is going all the time. He's disappearing and he's texting or messaging some girl on one of these dating programs, and you're that friend. You're the girl that he's reaching out to on the dating line. Jamie Curtis, her biggest complaint about women is that all women are backstabbers, according to her. All of them. Does she not realize she's a woman when she tells me that? Yeah, she does. Women try to pretend men have no emotions. Now, here's one thing that guys don't pay attention to enough. The manipulation thing, where we run around saying, oh, women are irrational, women are irrational. No, they play irrational. When it comes to dating, once they hit their mid-20s, they start strategically dating. Which one of these men has the resources that I want? I can't be dating a broke guy because then I'll have to work too. And so on and so forth. We're supposed to pretend that women are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Not if you can go hang out with whoever you want, but your boyfriend isn't allowed to talk to anybody. Now, with Chris Swafford and his big old crush on Amanda, how many times has he said on my channel that he'd marry her in a heartbeat and stuff like that? I don't see why. I don't see anything with her worth dating. Sure, she smiles and she makes merry, sort of, but she's also a very hateful person, a very vindictive person, and she brags openly about it. Chris knows that his talk about assaulting people and shit like that fucking creeps me out. So that's why he does it. Oh, that bugs you? Well, then I'm going to do it every time then, because it bugs you. Well, that's not a very friendly thing to do. Is Chris Swafford a friend? Is Amanda a friend? No, they're not. Don't get me wrong, Chris has given me money before. He's washed my laundry for me, too. He's also got problems of his own, which I'm aware of, which is why it's important to not waste time. If you have to know everything before you help me to turn it in, then you need to make the time to look at everything. If you don't have the time to look at everything, the least you can do is stop and take a look at how much of it is and speak up about that. If you're going to tell me about how rotten the cops are, don't tell me how rotten the cops are with the intent of deterring me, because that's not going to work. What it's going to do is solidify my resolve. And since your words are recorded, are you bullshitting me about the police? Did you lie about the police? Is this a manipulation thing? Fucking gross. And of course, between dealing with it as adults, or, well, many of these people have told me, like Chris, for example, he's been in contact with Candace since that whole incident happened. He's spoken with her more than once and come and told me what she had to say, sort of. I say sort of because I got to take everything with a grain of salt. I don't get embarrassed and I don't keep secrets. If you're going to tell me your secrets as an excuse not to come forward, not to do anything useful, well, you actually did something useful. You told me about all your secrets. Then I end up knowing a whole bunch about a bunch of other people who don't know shit about me. And then eventually they do look up my name. Oh God, Sean, you're such a horrible monster. I heard what you did. Really? I've been telling you what actually happened and explaining to you that there's actual evidence. But that's not what matters, is it? Don't get me wrong, I like the fact that Amanda is smiley very often. But there's exactly zero chance in hell of me ever dating somebody like that. Thank goodness I care more about human beings than looks. I care more about human life than looks. I care more about being nice to people than looks, but also being nice to people isn't the same as being good to people. If your idea of helping someone is talking about doing a bunch of fucked up shit to people, like Sarah Bacon wanted to complain that people were threatening to kill her and her kids and her husband over the situation with Natalie, and I'm supposed to feel bad for them, right? Well, I do. But I don't believe it because they never tried to help turn it in. No matter what, there's always some excuse to look the other way, isn't there? Your pissing contest is always worse than theirs, isn't it? It shouldn't be a pissing contest. A male victim isn't even allowed to come forward. He's not even allowed to come forward without being talked over, without being made to feel like he's being selfish because he needs help. No, we all need help sometimes. Now, is it the help that the person needs or the assumptions that you have that are more important? Obviously, your assumptions and voicing your assumptions are more important than listening to the actual victim. Of course, I'm not fucking happy with these people. Then again, they don't have to go through what I go through. When somebody in this town wants to tell me about how they grew up in this town and they were homeless in this town, that is a lot different than going through what I'm going through. So you want to pretend that each individual issue is just one issue and that's the only one that exists. No, all of these issues exist simultaneously. My financial issues exist simultaneously with my physical disabilities. My mental disabilities are from trauma from people treating me the way that Chris does, treating me the way that Amanda does. Don't tell me you're my friend if you're not going to do friend things. If you're only my friend when you want something, you're not my friend. If you want me to keep your secrets, keep in mind, I don't trust any adult who asks me to keep secrets. So don't do it. I grew up in the system. I've been through every type of abuse there is, and I can identify bullshitters pretty goddamn easily. But then again, I have to play stupid when I identify those idiots, because if I don't, then I get treated like I'm imagining things and making it up. And it's a good thing that I record. It's a good thing that I have the ability to record now. Because now it's not just their word versus mine, it's evidence that they said the things I told you they said, that they argue about the things that I told you they argued about. There's a lot of people that showed me that inanimate objects were more important than human life, and that talking over me was more important than listening to the goddamn thing I had to say. Kayla Trujillo did that. She had a pipe that she'd had since before her son was born. It was a 13-year-old pipe, and she was fucking proud of it. She didn't care to listen to me or listen about the situation with Natalie. She wanted to tell me what to do and what to think and what to feel, and wanted to insist that I needed to smoke some pot to calm down. No, you need to shut up for me to calm down. You need to stop talking about you to calm down. You need to stop making it about your fucking opinions, and you need to make it about the fucking victim's experience. But no, that's not how it works. Kayla Trujillo's a drug dealer. She admitted to it on my channel. And she's angry that it's up there. But here's the thing. All I needed for her to do was tell the truth about me going to her for help. She didn't have to explain all the fucked up shit that she did instead of helping. She didn't have to explain that she had me buy cigarettes. Yeah, she's going to help me, but I got to make sure I buy cigarettes. And then she's going to help me, but I got to go out and panhandle so they got food and Magic the Gathering cards. You know, she didn't have to come forward about any of that. She could have just said, hey, there's family issues that got in the way. At least that would be admitting that I tried to get help. And when you tell me you're too busy, if you're not telling the cops that, I don't believe you. If you're not telling the courts that, I don't believe you. If you want to tell me that you're my friend and you're going to be as unbelievable as possible, you're not my friend. It doesn't matter if you're Jamie Curtis or Amanda Kayak or Chris Stafford. It doesn't matter. You're not hearing me. You're only hearing what you want to hear. And you only know what you've heard, right? Hearing only what you want to hear and knowing only what you've heard. The most important thing is that with drug addicts and women, you are more likely to have to listen to them give a whole earful about themselves and call that help. Chris does the same thing, though. Should I tell him how womanly he is for doing that, or is that being sexist? I mean, that's certainly the sexism that I receive. Oh, you just need to man up. My disabilities magically don't exist because you told me to man up, huh? When you want to interrupt me when I try to explain to you about autism, and you just want to tell me that you've got a relative who's autistic, you're showing me that you don't know shit about autism, and you're not willing to learn anything about me. You've already decided that you know everything on the subject. That's pretty fucked up, and it's not very fucking friendly. When you choose to be like that, that's not my choice. There's a lot of stuff that I bought that I didn't fucking need, but people assured me that I did need it, and that if I didn't get it, they weren't going to help me. But if I did get it, then it would mean that I was trying and they were going to help me. But then I got what they wanted and spent my money and my resources where they wanted in exchange for help. See, that was the deal. I do what they want in exchange for the help that I need. But how many of them ever kept their word? None of them kept their word. I wouldn't expect them to. I'm a disabled dude. I don't fucking matter. When Amanda wants to get angry at me for telling the truth, she can be as angry as she wants. At least I told the fucking truth. Chris will hang out for hours after work if Amanda's there. He says he gets here at 8, but he usually doesn't get here till after 9. If Amanda shows up, he'll hang out until fucking midnight or past. He's been out here till 2 o'clock in the morning hanging out with her and talking shit with her while, of course, her boyfriend better be not anywhere near anything that's a woman. It's horrible. I feel bad for him. Then Chris, he's recorded on here saying that her boyfriend was beating on her. She didn't have any bruising. But if he's beating on her, why is she still with him? Is that all of our business? No, it's not. Why did Chris try to make it our business? Well, that was Chris talking about Amanda behind her back. Talking about her boyfriend behind his back. So that's what you call it if I do it here on YouTube. No, this ain't behind your back. This is out there for God and everybody to hear. I'm not going to tell you things that I wouldn't tell the public. I'm not going to tell you things that I wouldn't tell the police. And I'm not just going to look the other way while innocent people are being harmed. I'm also not going to feel sorry for you as an addict, especially when you're so sick and fucking twisted that you've got a double standard for your poor boyfriend. I do feel bad for him. When you want to talk about how you'd go have sex with all of his friends, videotape it and then send it to him, I can't think of you as anything close to being a good human being or a decent human being. I'm only capable of thinking of you as the monster that you're showing me. And then you want special treatment because you're a female. That's not going to happen. Not from me. I help men and women both. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I helped out Christian because he was hungry. I helped out Candace because her son was hungry. But Candace didn't just get food for her. She got food for her son, and her friend. Whereas Christian just wanted food for him. And he only got food for him. He didn't mislead it about who the food was going to. He was also fucked up on drugs when he came looking for food. I'm supposed to let all of this shit go and pretend that it doesn't happen. And I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pretend that your drug use is more important than my life or my sister's life. I'm not going to pretend that your cowardice makes any of this okay. Because it doesn't. Not even close. I didn't make you a coward. And I'm not going to take responsibility for your cowardice or your selfishness. When somebody comes to you because they've been abused, there's only one right thing to do, and that is to shut up and listen. Not to interrupt them repeatedly. Now, when it's somebody who's got sensory processing issues and they're overwhelmed, your idea of sensory processing issues is that they don't know what the fuck is going on. The reality is they know exactly what the fuck is going on, and it's too much of it. When we ask you to stop, you take that to mean do it over and over and over and over again. And primarily women do this. That's why I've got over 100 women recorded on my channel doing shit like that. Because this is a woman's game. All women in America are taught to play this game. They're all taught to fuck with your heads and to play on bias, every one of them. If your boyfriend on drugs, he's a junkie. But if you're on drugs too, you're a poor innocent addict. Bullshit.